Using ethnic groups as instruments of control, colonial administrations frequently recruited soldiers, police officers, and tax collectors from specific ethnic groups. These groups were then used to enforce colonial policies on others, including forced labor and tax collection. This achieved two goals. It reduced the need for large numbers of European officials, and it deepened hostility between local communities. Resistance to colonial rule became entangled with ethnic resentment, weakening collective opposition. Redrawing borders without regard for ethnicity. Colonial borders were drawn to suit European interests, not local realities. Single ethnic groups were split across multiple colonies. Rival ethnic groups were forced into the same political units. Traditional systems of governance were ignored or destroyed. These artificial boundaries created permanent tensions as groups with long-standing rivalries were made to compete for power within the same colonial state. Manipulating history and narratives, colonial education and propaganda often rewrote local histories to justify division. Certain groups were portrayed as naturally superior, others were labeled as lazy, violent, or backward. Myths of racial or ethnic hierarchy were promoted as scientific truth. By controlling narratives, colonial powers normalized inequality and made ethnic division appear inevitable rather than engineered. Suppressing unity and pan-ethnic movements. Whenever nationalist or pan-ethnic movements emerged, colonial rulers worked aggressively to suppress them, or leaders who preached unity were imprisoned or exiled. Movements were infiltrated and fractured along ethnic lines. Political representation was organized to emphasize ethnic identity rather than shared goals. Unity was dangerous to colonial rule. Division was safety. Long-term consequences after independence. Even after independence, the damage remained. Ethnic favoritism evolved into post-colonial political patronage. Distrust between groups fueled civil wars and coups.